All right, let's see. All right, so before we begin, I just want to say that on Monday we start this 8-week legato intensive. And yeah, pretty much what it says here: develop a clean and accurate legato. So it's 1 hour per day. You have an accountability thread. We just did the 8-week, we're actually on week 8 of the alternate picking intensive. So this is inside my school community. It's not free, but the community is free, but you can go in and check it out. So yeah, so if you want to join, do that now, and you can be in sync with everyone else. For the 8-week alternate picking intensive, a lot of people joined throughout, but I think you will have more people to sort of get inspiration from if you join on the day. So go check that out. And I need to add you manually into the actual school community. So if you don't have an account there already, don't feel like, you know, when do I get in? As soon as I see it, I will let you in, unless you say something really stupid in the questions. So yeah, basically sitting here for a little while, waiting for my wife to come home, and you will hear it when the dogs go crazy. So if you have any questions, just let me know. Hey Julian. Still in Florida? Better check that the sound is all right. God damn, it's not helpful. Let's see. My videos. Sound is all right? Yeah, seems all right. It's good to hear, man. Thank you. That's good. Making progress. I think a good thing to do there is like, if you do like the, let's see if I remember. If you find that like, oh, I have trouble here, make an exercise out of that. Or if you have trouble here, make an exercise out of that and do it in different places. Because if you just play the thing over and over again, you're gonna end up hating it, and yeah, it's not great. That's awesome. Check out Racer X, Julian. It's like the gold standard for that stuff. I mean, you have the Maiden, of course, and who else? Maiden comes to mind. could like bring people up on video, then I could help people in real time if they would dare to do that. And they get really shy, like I don't want to play. Fucking hell. But if you have any questions, just get them out there. I'll try to help. I love Fred and Holsworth and Tech Death, but I go to jazz guitar teacher who's really into Rosenwinkel and Metheny. It's almost completely opposite of what I'm really into. Should I search for another teacher? It depends. If you feel that you still get stuff from him, then not. But if he's like shitting on what you actually like, then it's not a good fit, right? Because I mean, the teacher I had when I started playing, he was like really down on Yngwie and stuff like that. So it was like, all right, what's the point? I learned some stuff from him, but it's not fun when the stuff that you like and the other teacher is like, this is crap, do my thing. But I'm not saying that your teacher is that way out. So I think it's important to have someone that's aligned, but also sometimes, you know, if you have a really good jazz guy, you can learn a lot because they generally sit on more knowledge than, you know, if it was like, oh, it's this local blues rock guy, nothing wrong with that, but the level of knowledge would be less. You might be a great player and then you might find that it sounds better than a jazz guy, whatever, it's subjective, but in terms of knowledge, you can get more from the jazz guy. But in general, I think it's important to, for example, if someone comes to me and say like, oh, I want to play straight ahead jazz, even though I could say like, oh, we'll work on standards, you're going to work on, you know, these voicings and the voice leading, and we're going to do this and we're going to do that, all that stuff that I know what to do, but I'm not really into jazz that deep that I wouldn't be the guy to help someone with that, right? I would rather be like, if you're really into that style, go to Jens Larsen or someone. Doesn't have to be a YouTube guy, or the guy that you take lessons from. So, but if you're like really into, fast picking or whatever, then you kind of want to have someone that has the ability to do what you want to be able to do. So that's what I would say. But I mean, one of my absolute favorite guitar players ever, Vinnie Moore, he took lessons from a straight ahead jazz guy, and I think he got a lot out of that. So I think his teacher took lessons from Pat Martino, and it's like, talk about a good lineage. So I think it's yeah. So I think it depends again if he's shitty about it or if he's like, it's like understands, but he can show you this stuff. Then unless you have someone else that in the area or online that you'd rather go to, you can do that. But otherwise, I think it's yeah. Milo, appreciate your videos, even though I can price once in 10, 15 and health issues see progress, but it's mainly the pink area is dangerous. Yeah. Well, I mean, it is a tricky thing. So, and especially like you said with your thing. Hope you're feeling better soon, because you've had it for a while, man. Julian, perfect example. Even though you aren't a black metal guy, your lessons taught me so much on what to do musically. Yeah, thank you, Julian. Well, I mean, music is music, right? So that's why I think you can get a lot out of someone that's very knowledgeable about something. So if he goes to that jazz guy, and you can pick up a lot of stuff, and if he's a good teacher. But if you have that aspect of like, he's a bit like snobby and like, I don't want you to play this tech death shit, whatever, right? Then that would be more of a problem, I think. Yeah, his level of knowledge is huge. He's really heavy into theory. That's what I want to get. He's not into Vi or whatever, but respects it. Thanks for your answer. Yeah, but that's fine. I mean, again, I, I'm not into a lot of stuff as well, but I wouldn't shit on it just to be like, you know, I have a lot of students that like really into Polyphia, and for me, that's I don't hate on it, but it's not something that I'm very interested in. But it's, you know, that shouldn't come into it. Well, I think some teachers get an ego instead of being able to say like, you know, well, that's not really what I would, you know, like I said, for my example, if someone comes and like all they want to do is, you know, then I'm not the guy for that. Even though I could technically point them like do this, and play this over that, since I'm not into that, it's hard to really have sort of this lived experience that a real jazz dude would have. So. Yeah, for sure. Let's see, I found as a learner, so articulating our questions is also a huge thing. Yeah, sometimes you don't, you know, you might not even be sure what you're trying to ask, but that's, I think, is the role of the teacher as well. If you can express like, you know, I don't get the sound that I want, but you don't know why, that's the teacher's job to be able to say like, well, you know, you do this, maybe try this. So sometimes it's a bit of a, you know, investigation you have to do to find the issue. Nippe, sometimes there's a lot of value in learning something typical. Yeah, for sure. But I think learning more is always going to be better than, than learning less. But I just think that there's some people who have like an ego when it comes to the teaching thing, and if they, especially if they can't do something, then it's like, oh, that's shit anyway. I wouldn't even want to do it. It's like, okay, dude, whatever. Josie, I can't control my pinky very well compared to my other fingers. Well, welcome to the club, dude. I think it's more a matter of like practicing it, because a lot of people, they don't practice the pinky too much because it doesn't feel like, they don't feel like they're in control of it, and then it gets even worse. It's kind of like, imagine if like you stopped using your left arm, it just hangs there all day. Even like within a week, that would be, we'd have even harder time using it. So that's where I think like technique exercises has a real place in your playing, because you can basically force yourself to use it, a certain combination that you're bad at, and it doesn't really take that much time either. If you find that like, ah shit, third and fourth finger is really difficult, you can just do things like this very slowly and perfectly. Even for 5-10 minutes a day, it will make a difference, especially if you have issues with, you know, using the pinky. A great one is this. the fifth fret, one finger per fret, and you just go 1, 4, 3, 4, and then you do that again, but instead of 1, you go 2, 2, 4, 3, 4. Just alternate pick that. Or legato. But don't try to like, go really fast, but focus on the... We can just move up like this. My wife loves that stuff, so no one ever. And then you can either do it one string at a time, or you can do like 6 strings. So try that. It's just a matter of using it, because again, if you keep avoiding it, it's gonna get worse. Well, certainly not gonna get better. So, Juan, I would like to be a teacher in the future. Did you ever feel insecure about teaching when you were starting? I'm 27 for 11, 12 years. Yeah, well, yeah, I was, but I started teaching when I was, how old was I? Like 20, something. So I think I was 19 or 20. So, but the thing was like, I realized that, you know, you can always, and also when you've had a lot of students after a while, you get used to it, you know. And I'm very confident in what I'm teaching. So, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I have no problem. Like, well, I'm really into rockabilly. It's like, yeah, we can, you know, look at general technique. I mean, a C chord is a C chord. You know, we can look at stuff like that. But if you want to go in deep on one style that I'm not really into, you're better off going to like a specialist. Like, if you're really into jazz, go to a jazz guy. So if you deal with it like that, then it is what it is. It's no big deal. But if you try to be like, you know, do you want to come and study with me? Yeah, I want to play classical guitar. You're like, great. Yeah, I'll do that. And then like you have no like finger style shops or whatever, and you don't even have a classical guitar. Like, yeah, you know, do this, and you have no idea what you're doing. Then you're just taking money from people. This is like no different than being like a personal trainer, and then someone comes like, yeah, I really want to work on Taekwondo. It's like, cool. And you've never, you know, kicked higher than your waist in your life, and you have no idea what the fuck you're doing. How about you send them somewhere else? Same thing here, so. Nippe, how do you make the decision whether to use economy picking or alternate? Was it a matter of sound or flexibility? What do you recommend to people who are just getting into it? Well, I think anyone, I mean, you can do whatever you want. I'm not your dad, but I think everyone should have a decent alternate picking technique, because that's not a basic thing that will work in most situations. And I'm not talking about playing super fast either, like just being able to decently play something with a strict alternate, so you have control over that, because that's going to come into like rhythm guitar and everything, right? And then economy, you can make that into a whole style, so you always do like 3 note per string scale. With economy, I don't tend to do that. I tend to do alternate picking there, but then you have other things where like stuff like that, when you have 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. Then it's very appropriate to do the appropriate. It's very helpful to do the economy picking, because it makes more sense. So I've seen more like tools, and also the sound, of course. But you can see like Spyro Dusius, he sounds super staccato because he mutes everything, and he basically does mostly economy picking. Rick Graham as well, he picks really hard, right? Because he said like, oh, economy picking can sound kind of, you know, too smooth. So to get away from that, he would start picking really hard. So it depends on what the sound is and that you want. So hi John, can you recommend maybe an app or website that will identify an arpeggio scale or phrase by entering the notes of the sequence? No, I cannot, unfortunately. You can probably try putting it into ChatGPT, but also it can be dicey. Because holy shit, it can hallucinate stuff. Really basic stuff as well. I don't know where it gets this information. So I think your best bet in the long term is just to learn. Like, okay, so a major scale is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. A minor scale has 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, 1. Dorian scale has 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 1. Phrygian 1, flat 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, 1, and so on. Just learn start with the major scale and then look at what the modes are. And basically this whole thing about numbers is like, someone decided at some point that the major scale is going to be the ruler of music, not like the king, but the sort of measuring stick. So then we have this whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step, and that's our major scale. And then we put the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1 on that. And then when you want to tweak something to make it into like a Lydian scale, for example, it would be 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, 6, 7. And if you know where the 4 is, then you can sharp it by going up a half step, so you get, right? So if you understand that, and it's not hard, it's like, again, I always say this, that you have to remember that music theory was made by musicians, and we're not rocket scientists. So if you can count to 7, and then if you can count to 13, you're good with theory. John, I noticed that with a proper warm-up I can achieve my top speed, but one day I used a lacrosse ball in my form and was able to almost play at my top speed instantly. No idea, I've never tried that. But I mean, when you do that stuff, you can help with like nerve stuff as well, right? So if you're really tight. But I wouldn't dare to make like, yes, use the lacrosse ball and play faster. My new course, you get a lacrosse ball included, a virtual one. I remember asking the ChatGPT about scale charts and how, yeah, it's awful. And it's so confident in its replies. It pisses me off, actually. So I posted a YouTube link today, actually, about training. So it had nothing to do with guitar. And then it just started talking about, because I watched a bit of the video, so I knew, but I didn't have time to watch the whole thing, so I chucked it into just a link. And you can see like, oh, searching, and then it super like takes it through like, oh, then it says this and it says that. And I was like, he didn't say any of this. Like, yeah, sorry, no, I just assumed normal training advice. Like, what the fuck? So you kind of have to like call it on shit. But that's why it's so dangerous, I think, right now at least, that if you're trying to learn about something and it sounds so logical and it sounds so sure that, and if you don't know because you're trying to learn it, how would you know if it's not correct? So yeah, it's weird. On the other hand, ChatGPT has helped firmware. Yeah, that has actually been helpful for me as well, stuff like that. But I think it has a long way to go in certain regards, for sure. But it's so strange how it's so certain about stuff. Like, yep, this is what it is. Okay. Diminished. So diminished seventh arpeggio. And actually, any of those notes can be the root. So you could say, oh, it's a D diminished seventh. And I could say, it's an A flat diminished seventh. And we both be right. My address is, no, I'm in Stockholm, north of Stockholm. Well, it kind of doesn't matter where it's situated. So diminished seventh is kind of Yngwie type stuff, if I don't fuck it up. And what's the thing with that is that it's symmetrical. Yeah, so it's a diminished Jorperio. And just skipping. Yeah, exactly. No, but this arpeggio though is part of harmonic minor. No, just hybrid. So it's not the Marshall Harrison thing. It's more that stuff where he would go down, up, 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 finger, finger. I mean, he's done crazy stuff with that. I love that the term sticks, because that's his thing. Have you ever played a guitar with an asymmetrical neck with conformal? No, I haven't. I have not. Shouldn't be. I mean. Probably if you can try one out somewhere. Well, hybrid is not about, it's not chicken picking, right? It's more about getting a way to, especially with legato. Whenever you do stuff like this, if you have to pick that, it's harder to do that. I mean, you can do it absolutely, but it's harder to control the dynamics, I found. You shouldn't, and again, when I say shouldn't, that's just, you know, the way that I tend to use it most of the time. So I don't do the, so if you get that sound, you're doing it too hard, basically. So try to get the same. How to fix sloppy flam sounding synchronization? By downloading my speed builder routine. And also, actually, you can do that, but I think, are you part of the practice room community? If you go to the link in the description, actually I need to check so it actually is there. Hold on. I'll just do this. you go here and then you go into the classroom section, that's a free 30-minute routine. Yeah, it's soft in legato. The first one should be picked apart, so because it's not like. Yeah, well, I mean, also it's about what about the sound that you want, right? But if you want to get a sort of maintain the legato illusion, you want to try to disguise the string changes. Well, I don't think so, because you know, I've been training for a long time as well, so I don't think so. I mean, today I did heavy weighted pull-ups and stuff like that, and if I would play guitar right away when I get home, maybe it will feel a bit, you know, weird, but you know, 30 to 60 minutes after I've trained, I'm usually fine. So. Do you mean the when you legato and auto picking? Yeah, right after the gym it can affect. Sure, it also depends on like how used to going to the gym you are as well. But I think the trade-off, I think, is worth it. So. Right. Member request. You see. Connor Cadence. More questions, guys? I say guys because I don't believe there are only ladies here. God damn, it's almost beer o'clock. Exactly, Nipe. Ever tried a 3D printed pig? Yeah, actually I have. I got this from a student. And he 3D printed this. It's not my favorite, but whatever. It's a bit too clicky for my taste. Love these though, Paul Gilbert's picks that I found on So. Yes, Kelly, beer o'clock. Don't be shy. Come up with some questions. Oh, I think my wife is coming home now. Anyway, check this out in the same link. Starting on Monday, get your Legato shops together. Thank you, Wesley. It's called Neural DSP Petrucci. I'll be here for a couple more minutes, but if you have a good question, or even a bad question. 420. Am I reading this right? So like super thick, or is it super thin? 4 point, yeah. Yeah, I'm a Jazz 3 type of guy as well, but I'm sponsored by Mathis Guitars. Thank you, Juan. And so he sends me these. And this skull, and so this is his... Actually, I should post the link so you can check it out. Actually, there's an old clip from Instagram on the sales page as well. So, and it, he sends me pics every, couple of times a year. Couple of times a year. So that's like how far the sponsorship goes. But I prefer it that way. And also, then I can just say to people, I wouldn't play these if I didn't like them. So, if we just buy new ones. Do you recommend when ear training listening at full speed or slowing down the speed? It depends. I think it's two things. There's a really good bass player, Janik Gwizdala, Gwizdala, I believe it's spelled. Janik. If you just search for Janik bass on YouTube, you'll find it. Really good. And he swears by transcribing, learning by ear. It's not necessarily writing it down, but learning by ear. at speed because it feels like that's how you're gonna hear it. But I it doesn't really matter. And also sometimes when I started playing, right, I didn't have any of these slow down things. My brother helped me build the thing later on, but when I was transcribing things, I would sit there and like pause the I would put whatever I wanted to transcribe on a cassette. Yes, hello, grandpa. So it was early '90s, mid '90s, because the cassette was easier to hear when you queued it up. You could hear like, so you would know where you were. CDs were everything was different than depending on the CD player if you could get to the point where you needed to be. So I would pause really quickly. So I remember learning the so great. Anyway, but it's the Another Day run, and I remember like pausing. So I would hear this, and then pause, and then so I would like pause really quickly, and then just right after, as however many notes I could hear before that, and then you kind of like, oh, I think this is right, and then you sort of piece it together that way. Uh, well, I think that's why so many old school players, and I say Paul Gilbert is an old school player, right? Was so good because they had to learn by ear. Now you have like, everything is served for you, and that's so funny to me because I see people like I play something like and I play it slowly and like tabs, bro. Like if you can't get it, and or I have tabs obviously, but if you can't get it by someone showing it slowly, you probably need to work on your ears more than your technique at that point. So and it's a skill like anything else. When you first start, it's super hard. You have to like go note by note. You have to literally stop after each note, and then you get it wrong, and it's But it's that thing when you listen. So even if you sit there and try to figure something out, and you get everything completely wrong, that's gonna be better for you in the long run than you just going to the tab straight away. So now you you can go do like a hybrid approach. You start by getting like, okay, I'm gonna get this first, I'm gonna get the intro to this song, and then you try and like, it's a complete shit show. And then you go on YouTube and see like, oh, it's played over here. Oh, okay. And then you try to find it there. And if that doesn't work, you can go and check the tabs. And even, if it's not something super obscure, you're gonna have some sort of walkthrough online of varying quality. But it's so important to use your ears. Yeah, Sean held the pick like this, as did Paul Gilbert actually on the first Razor Max album, but he changed it because it didn't feel good. So a really good thing to use when you transcribe, though, that I love is because for me, there's a lot of apps that are good, but the problem is getting the music into the app without like, oh, I have to download it somehow and like do all that shit. But there's a plugin for Google Chrome called Transpose, I think it's called. Hold on. Yeah, it's called Transpose. Uh, And the cool thing about that is that, and you need to get the pro version. And this, I'm not affiliated with this in any way. It's just a fucking amazing app. Basically, you can, if you log into Apple Music via the browser or Spotify or whatever you get your music, YouTube, Instagram, and then you pull up that plugin, you basically can slow it down, you can loop it, you can change the pitch of the whole song. You can fine tune it. So if you're learning some Pantera or something like that, you can actually pitch it up so it's actually in tune with your guitar. It's amazing. It's really, really good. And then when you save it as a clip as well, it will remember that. It's like, oh, this was from Spotify or whatever, and then it will bring that up when you go to that clip in your sort of playlist in this app. And you get a free trial for the what's it called? The Pro version, because you need the Pro version because the regular one is not very good. The Pro version, great. And you get a free trial, like I said, for a week without even putting in a credit card. So once it's done, you need to buy it. But you can have a monthly fee, or you can just buy it. I think you can buy it for like $30 or something. And then you have it forever. You get all the updates, or you can just pay monthly, which is like $5. So it's very, very good price. And I wish they had an affiliate program, because I would sell the shit out of this, because I think this is so good. I was so happy when I found it. And mainly for like the being able to loop small sections, and also doing that with any music or audio that you like. It's perfect. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to lose by doing it by ear now, and then you can check it afterwards. That's like perfect. So I did a lot of orchestral stuff for Epidemic Sound, and when I was learning the orchestral stuff, how to compose it, I would take my favorite moments of like a John Williams piece or whatever, and whatever I had the score for, and then I would transcribe it myself, and then you would invariably have to fill in the gaps, because like if you have a big section with like all the strings going, and then it's really hard to like, oh, I'm gonna hear what clarinet 2 is doing here. So, but it just the best of both worlds, I think. When you try it yourself, and then you can like, correct yourself as well. So. But what I suggest to students is like, instead of going to the tabs, if you try to figure out a solo or a riff or whatever, and the key is to take something small first, and something that you actually like. That's very important. But you try it yourself, and then you go and try to find a live clip, because then you can see like, oh, that's how to play it. And then if you again have a really hard time getting it because you're not at that level yet, then you go to the tabs or the walkthrough. But the thing is though, once you start really hearing stuff, you realize like how tabs are kind of shit in most cases, and walkthroughs as well. It's kind of shit. So you kind of have to find the right people and hope that they've covered whatever you want to cover. So. No, I haven't. That probably works really well, but also there's something to it when you really listen, and you kind of learn how to hear around certain frequencies, if that makes sense. You start learning how to isolate it with your brain, and that's only gonna go so far. So obviously, if it's something really, back in the mix, it can be almost impossible to hear it properly. But I find that just a thing of like trying to hear it, that works your brain in a completely different way. So you just get this different level of listening, which gonna serve you so well when you're practicing yourself. You start hearing like, that sounded like absolute ass, and then you can correct it. So, because that's a big part of practicing, like actually catching yourself when you sound like shit. I used to use an app called Transcribe before, which had they had a function where you could basically, you used it and you could hear like everything in the left channel and everything in the right channel, but it was more than just, you know, doing this like left and it did some phase cancellation as well, so you could kind of remove the vocals, so you would only hear the like the reverb of the vocals or something, and that could help a lot when you're trying to hear like the rhythm guitar stuff when they had singing. So any more questions before I have to go? Reaper, all right. I mean, there's so many ways of doing it. I think the biggest problem I have is like getting the music in there without, you know, I don't even know where my CDs are in storage somewhere. So, and there's so many cool things online that you want to be able to slow down. So, even check some Matteo Mancuso Instagram thing, and then you can just slow it down, and, or more to the point, like get it in. Not even that. You go to the clip and then you put the transpose thing out, and then you can just loop a little section and figure out what he's doing. So. Doesn't really matter what you use, I think, in the long run. The most important thing is that you actually do it. That's cool. I've been using Logic for so long, so I'm aware of Reaper, but I've never used it. Alright, I'm gonna go and have a Friday. Good questions, everyone, and nice meeting you, Juan. Go check out the practice room, by the way. Now, chuck you in there if you're not in there already. We're over 1,000 people in there, and there's a lot of lessons and shit, and free. So have a good Friday.